Alright then. We begin the scene with an unfortunate accident. Somebody being at the wrong place at approximately the wrong time. We see Daniel, a med student, just trying to make his way in the world. For some odd reason, he seems that he needs to let go a little bit, and through some corralling, through some carousing by his friends, he gets, unfortunately, terrible advice, as Daniel is currently face to face with what seems like a few ruffians. Unfortunately, he says the wrong things. He says the wrong things at the wrong time, and he is unfortunately quickly dispatched and maimed and brutally murdered. But much before his time, much before any type of promising future could be had for this young gentleman, this young med student, he is unceremoniously thrown into the trunk of a low rider and is unfortunately prepped for disposal in the most inconvenient and unceremonious of manners, as his body, is taken to the Hurricane Bungalow. The Hurricane Bungalow is, well, it's a little bit of an out of the way area. It seems to not attract much attention. However, ever since the brutal murders of several gang members, several of their own, several of rival sects are concerned, they have proceeded to hold themselves up. And they know for a fact that the police response time is now extraordinarily high at the moment. They are on edge, they are prepared, and they really do not want to see this figure go ahead and take them down yet again. The bungalow, as far as the one that is currently watching can be concerned with, is of 3 different buildings, all one story, all pretty much in the same area, and all pretty much fenced in by the same fence. And there we begin our scene.
The bungalow is indeed under close observation of one particular fiend looking to clean the Bronx neighborhood from the wretched influences of said hurricanes. As he spots the lowrider approaching, probably holding some particular gang members in it, he looks through his scope, as he is wont to do, out into the direction of the bungalow, and tries to focus on who's greeting the man in the car, as well as security so far. He intends to today make his move into the bungalow, or at least a move towards getting the people he really thinks are necessary to take down this entire gang. He already had his eyes on the second and third man in command, but he has to once lay eye on the man responsible for most of the gruesome orders that are being given.
From what the Reverend can tell, as his nickname is known, from what he can tell through his scope, looking at the low rider, he sees what can only be seen as a few Turks. In fact, if you were to go to his devil associate Marcus, he would call them all just a bunch of Turks, simply because these are unorganized rabble who don't necessarily understand how the game should be played. They're more interested in protecting their turf, protecting their bodies, getting way too high up in themselves, getting way too high up in the gangland culture, buying as much weapons and coke and drugs as possible, never really using them rather efficiently. They have no sense of code, no sense of the Amorta code at least. As he goes ahead and spies the lowrider that proceeds to drive into the complex, he goes ahead and takes notice of the driver, the associates around him. The person that greets him is a regular thug, another Turk. However, the watcher, the man who opens the gate for the slow rider, also briefly is in contact with one of the seconds, but just for a brief moment, as the Turk goes ahead, walks over to one of the shanty homes, knocks on the door, gives a few words. He is proceeded to be yelled at, and he continues back to the gate, lets the lowrider in, just so the lowrider can go ahead and park around back.
The sergeant notices this, tries to look upon a different approach. Clearly, they are very protective of this one location, and he tries to search out which building is closest to one of the borders of the turf they are protecting, in order to insert himself in that building first and maybe get a closer look upon the main building.
Alright, fair enough. Go ahead and make me a dex stealth roll to proceed to get in much closer without being seen.
Alright, will do. Let me see, what was my dex again? Oh, for my stealth again. Oh, alrighty then. Yep, okay. That's 4 successes.
Let's see if the Turk out front sees ya. Oh shit. Well, this might be a very much shorter scene. Perhaps the Reverend isn't as prepared as he thought. Perhaps he has unfortunately stepped on something he shouldn't have, but for some strange reason, he notices that the Turk goes ahead and swing his head in his general direction, and he's actually going to go ahead and pick from his pocket what seems to be a radio, as he's still looking at you, and you notice him looking at you. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I notice that I'm getting caught, and the best way to perceive after getting caught is taking action. So I'm going to take initiative and trying to shoot the radio out of his hand, disable the radio so he can't contact people.
All right.
I'll do it with the silenced pistol because, well, the rifle would make too much noise.
Fair enough.
Or at least
go ahead and
tricky to draw.
Go ahead and do your initiative.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely going first.
Yes, I'm on 17.
All right. He is not that high. As far as what he's going to attempt to do, he is apparently going to attempt to duck out of the way and proceed to call for help. However, you have the initiative on him and can act before him.
Yep. As I will try and fire at the radio he's holding currently.
If you want to shoot at the radio, that'll be at a difficulty 9.
I know. I figured as much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay. Roll. Of course. Wow, that's 1 success, but still 1 success.
With 1 success, that's still enough to hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
What's a silenced pistol damage?
It's about 5 dice. 5 dice, just because I'm generous.
Okay, here we go. 5 dice.
That's more than 5 dice, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the damage. I misclicked.
Well, go ahead and clear it for me. And
yeah, it's clear. It's 5 dice for damage. Do I add anything else? Not.
No, because you just had the single success.
There you go. Twink.
Twink. Well, that's definitely enough to go ahead and blast the radio out. However, that doesn't stop him from proceeding to duck out of the way, which he does so not miraculously, but just enough as he goes ahead and he will actually start to scream, start to yell out, and while he's not radioing in help, he's definitely calling for it. Next turn.
All right. I'll try to shut him up then. Because
Mm-hmm.
he's ducking out of the way, I'm going to approach the place he is at, so I can get a view. I can get a view upon him because I think he ducked behind some bushes or behind some wall, and I need to be able to see him to get a clear shot. So I'll approach him and then shoot him point blank
All
in the
right,
face.
Matt, you can definitely go ahead and reorient yourself. He happens to be on the other side of a fence. If you would like to get in point blank range with him, I would like to see a Dex Athletics roll.
Oh, perfect. That's Dex. That's athletics. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. That's 3 successes.
All right, fair enough. You spend this turn at least going ahead and scaling the fence quite expertly, not trying to draw any more attention to yourself. However, the man before you is still yelling about a man that's currently invading, currently getting into his turf as you hear from behind him more wrestling, more. Apparently, there is action being had inside that shack towards his back. He himself is not doing much of anything, just yelling out that he saw something, that somebody's shooting at him, while you have a very, very clear vision of him.
Then I'll proceed to shoot him in the face.
Alright, he'll proceed to try to avoid being shot in the face.
You can try.
Yeah, he can.
Oh, of course, all the ones. Nice dodging there.
Yeah.
Because I have too much ones again. You dodge it?
Oh, wow. Okay, yes. The first shot rings out into the night. Pow! Pow! Pow!
Well, that's a
And
silent shot, but yes, it's still toof toof toof.
it will still make a sound.
It will make a sound, definitely.
Yes, yes, yes. Pow! 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 And I know you only took 2 shots, liberal. In any case, he goes ahead and like his life depended on it, which at this point it kind of does. He goes ahead and runs back into the shack, saying, "Oh God, it's him! It's the one! Oh God!" As inside you hear more and more preparations.
That's perfectly fine. I was hoping for them to stay in the shed. My next action will be to throw a, what was it again? A flashbang into the entire shed.
Well, since they have not closed the door yet, they didn't think enough to do so. Go ahead and do so.
All right. Well, I guess that's dexterity. What?
Dexterity, athletics, difficulty 7 to get it inside the shack.
Sure. Here you go.
Okay, that's quite enough, yeah.
Oops.
You go ahead and lob the flashbang into this small little shack, and it proceeds to take a second, which I'm assume you're going to let it take.
Yep.
Okay. You go ahead and let it take that second as it proceeds to flash and bang as the grenade is known for. And let's see if people drop or not. He drops like a sack of Brits.
Great.
He keeps himself up. He seems to be just doing fine. You hear from inside a "God damn it!" and the clattering of one weapon.
All right. Because I made this noise so much already, I am switching to a secondary gun, which
Mm-hmm.
is a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And because the flashbang just entered, I'm entering through the door. And I'm shooting at
Yep.
the first guy that stands up straight.
Okay, fair enough. When you proceed to enter the door, you see three figures, two of which are starting to reorient themselves, but the last one actually having dropped his weapon. Two of them are pointing their shotguns at you. What do you do, my good sir, since I'm being
I,
kind enough to give you the initiative?
I'm activating my armor
Mm-hmm.
with one fate point.
Yep.
And then I'm going to fire upon the first guy that has his gun aimed at me. I'm
All
going
right.
to aim, well, going to aim straight for the face. Here we go. That's still only. There you go. That's 2 successes only.
Okay. With two successes, one of those successes carry over. You have 9 dice of damage, my good sir, and he will not be able to soak simply because he has no armor on his face. Sad for him.
Sad for him. Good for me. That's 4 damage straight to the face.
4 damage straight to the face. You go ahead and unload your shotgun into this poor sap's face. His eye, his cheek, his ear, as well as a good portion of his scalp just go completely missing as it is quickly filled with pus, ooze, blood, and a very, very nauseous green fluid and slime that you are familiar with, my good sir.
Yep. Smelly bastards.
He attempts to scream and yell at you desperately, but the only thing that can come out of his mouth is at which point the guy next to him, who has never ever seen this before, will actually react very, very poorly. Okay, he's still got his wits about him, simply because he goes ahead and gawks at his friend, who just proceeded to lose his face and is currently spilling out green fluid. But he manages to keep hold of his weapon and point in your direction to shoot. Pow! Eh, 1, 2, 3. Alright, fair enough. That is 10 dice of damage to your chest, my good sir. Alright, soak some lethal.
I'll soak 6. That's the entirety of the amount you shot.
Yep, the shotgun goes ahead and kaplam! You go ahead and take it right in the chest. You don't seem to be in any way, shape, or form phased by this at all. As we go on to the next turn, which you currently have.
Then I will shoot at the guy still. Does the guy who I just shot in the face still hold his gun? Is he
Oh,
able to
yes.
fight or shoot?
Apparently, he is still very much combat ready. The force of the blast pretty much shook him in his face as he reorients his weapon towards you.
Then he's going to get the second shot.
Hmm?
I'm going to shoot him again, this time in the chest, because I think his head is gone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4.
Alright, go ahead and roll the damage.
That's 3 plus 8, so that's 11. All the ones, of course.
Alright. Let's see if he can actually soak any of that. Do-do-do-do. Well, he's able to soak 1. Ah, shit. So he suffers one more level of damage, and he's not looking pretty. He's actually crippled at this moment, as he only has a single dice left to perform any such action. The guy who dropped his weapon briefly also kind of has to make the same courage check, or flee, which he does fantastically. So you see the guy who dropped his weapon go ahead and reach down to pick it up. However, that will be the only thing he does this turn. The guy who you have been shooting repeatedly will go ahead and try to muster up his weapon. You've gone ahead and blown back himself a few times. He can barely stand on his legs, but that green ooze that just flows out of every single wound is somehow keeping him up. Holy crap, that hits. Awesome. With a single die, he hits.
The dice gods, they're cruel.
They are cruel. He's going to go ahead and try to blast you. Kapow! Oh.
Extremely
The dice gods
cruel.
are cruel tonight.
They are. Because I'm only soaking 3 of those.
Alright. You take 3 levels of lethal damage, unfortunately.
Yep.
Alright. The man who has not been hurt quite yet, has not been flustered, will go ahead and continue to have to make these courage checks. He makes it like a boss. God damn it. He's gonna try to shoot you. Kaplang. Oh, for Christ's sakes!
Ouch.
Okay, alright, that's 5 successes to hit. 4 of these successes carry over the damage. That's 12 damage. See what happens.
Holy crap.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'll take again 3. That means 6 lethal total.
Alright. You have taken
crippled.
6 lethal. It might not be crippled. Let me go ahead and double check this.
This was supposed to be a simple scene.
I know.
Yeah, things happen. 1,
Those
2,
creatures
3,
are tough.
4, 5, 6. Yes, you are crippled, my good sir. You are a negative 5 to dice penalties.
I know. I have to spend a faith point in order to keep myself going.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take the portal and escape for now. Not out of the area, but still escape far enough with my life intact. I will not be out of the area totally. I'll just simply remove myself from that area. And I will set up somewhere else, which I can when I'm under less fire. So I will teleport to a position close by and set up the sniper rifle.
All right, you're gonna go ahead and disengage. You're gonna go ahead and run back to the doorway. You're gonna go ahead and try to disappear as quickly as possible. I'm willing to give that to you.
Good.
All right.
I need to lick my wounds soon.
Yep. You go ahead and quickly disappear away from the scene. Where do you disappear to? Have you already prepared a little porta-potty or car door?
Yep.
All right. Where is this car?
The car is parked in the corner of the greater neighborhood. So I have to make my way back again a little. But while I do that, I will try to get from the back of the cars the first aid kit. I need to remove some pedals out of myself.
All right. We will come back to you in a simple second. Now, going to Daniel. something strange is happening. Daniel, you find yourself in the trunk of a car. You find yourself bound. You found yourself quite well injured. Daniel, are we still here? Can you still listen to us? Can you still hear us?
Can he?
You awaken in the trunk, or at least in a dark place that you don't quite recognize.
People that feel the pain that killed him. And he'll so since it's quite dark in a trunk, feel around to find an opening.
Mm-hmm. Try as best as you can. Try as best you can to make some kind of perception check to find out anything about this place.
Legit. Perception alertness.
Yep, that'll do it.
Four successes.
Alright, with 4 successes, you quickly realize that when this particular body that you're inhabiting, though the concept is quite foreign to you, inhabiting a body rather than being a person, the clock quickly disappears from your mind. But you go ahead and you're actually able to find the child lock handle that comes with most trunk nowadays. You're able to actually go ahead and pull it. And when you do so, the trunk goes ahead and pops open. And what you hear from beyond the trunk is quite disturbing, actually. You hear screams. You hear gunshots. You hear people screaming blasphemy. You hear people running and dodging. You hear feral screams, guttural screams, disease screams all about you. You wish to proceed.
Daniel, with his memories quite intact, actually, very much intact, will try and GTFO.
Try to run.
Yep, and actually, if I can, I would like to activate an aspect of my low torment.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yep, I would like to activate that reckoning and armor.
Alright, 2 very, very good choices. Dead Reckoning. You realize quite quickly that the university that you were staying at, or at least studying under, is quite a few miles away, all the way back to Fortham, and the place that you are currently meeting one of your friend's contacts, one of your very, very, very foolish friends, is about a few miles in the opposite direction. When you proceed to get out and tumble your ass out, now you can actually see some things. You look around, and behind you is a shack, and from the shack is where all the screaming and fighting is coming from, as you just hear, "Greed bastard, motherfucking life, no!"
Daniel will just ignore it and try and be kind of stealthful.
Go ahead and roll it.
Get the hell out of here. And seeing as he just died, he's going to spend a willpower point on it. I'm so glad I did. That's 1 success.
1 success? Well, they're not really paying attention to you, but somebody might see something. Oh, for Christ's sakes. So, you recognize a voice behind you. It's one of the voices of the contacts, the drug dealers that you were going to meet up with because, well, your friends are foolish and gave you foolish advice. He goes ahead and looks towards you and says, "Mama Mays, You're supposed to be dead! You're supposed to be dead!
Booking it.
Booking it? You're booking it. You book it. You're running. You're getting out of the way. You're running as fast as utterly possible. Give me a stamina athletics check to see how far you can run away from this terrible, terrible nightmare.
One success.
God damn it, people.
The dice gods are cruel tonight.
They are totally cruel tonight.
Hatefully
You
so.
go ahead. Yeah. You go ahead and run. You book it. You're able to not be completely out of breath. As you go ahead and try to make it back. Where are you heading to?
I will try and run my very best to get back to university. Or to the dorm, actually.
All right, fair enough. We'll go ahead and leave you there. Let's go back to the Rev for a second. Rev, how we doing?
I need to make some medical rolls, I think, to make
Okay,
sure
fair
that I
enough.
can sustain. Nope. Let me clear this shit first. Okay, that helps. Two
Right.
successes to get myself back in shape. Get a
All
little bit
right.
of lethal damage away from my persona.
You're able to stabilize yourself, and you're able to remove 2 wound penalties. However, you will not be able to remove your health levels of damage.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Actually, what I'm going to do next is climb on top of my car to look over, to have a greater look upon the area I was fighting in, to see if I can get an aim on the check.
All right. You go ahead and do so. You go ahead and grab your scope again. You go ahead and look down at the collection of bungalows before you, and you quickly realize that the place has gone tits up. You quickly realize that there is fighting in every single one of those bungalows. You quickly realize that this green sludge has decided to explode everywhere. The shack that you were fighting in is currently not looking too good. It seems as if the fighting started there and proceeded to explode outwards. In fact, you can see through your scope the lieutenant that you were currently looking for covered in slime as he proceeds to try to bash back a few of these other Nergalites, but finding it very, very hard to do so. He's holding his own, but he just can't quite escape, can't quite get out of this predicament he finds himself in.
Well, I'm not a cruel man, so I'm going to help him topple over. I'm going to take my shot at him.
Yep. Go ahead. Add your perception dice to this because I assume you're
Are you
taking all the
sure?
time.
Yes, I'm taking my time. Okay, all the perception dice. You want to first make a roll of perception, then add those rolls, or add my entire perception?
Roll your perception, then add those dice.
Okay, and then I'm going to activate my perception first.
Of course.
There you go. Okay. I'm taking 2 down. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's plus my firearms, which is 5, plus my dex, which is 6, and then my, what was it, 7?
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
There you go. Oop. Taking down 2 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
6
To hit.
successes.
So that's 5, adding to the damage of 8.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 13 dice of damage. There you go. Yep, that's only 3 because of that dice gods hating my ass.
Yep. He soaks one of them. You go ahead and line your shot up as perfect as you can reasonably expect, and you go ahead and shoot. You try to shoot as straight and true as possible. However, it only seems to wing him in the shoulder. However, since he's currently in mortal combat with apparently two Nurglites, it only takes that one shot to go ahead and disrupt his action, at which point he is grappled by these disgusting creatures and dragged down. Terrible things are being done to this man. Terrible, terrible things.
Yes, I will continue to fire now on the Nurglites.
You go ahead and do so, and to speed things along, you're able to reasonably dispatch quite a few of them, but the more you shoot, the more you realize how much time is not left to you. When will they call the cops? How will you cover this up? Are you going to run and simply leave this?
I'm going to make sure that every Nurglite is down, and probably I have to enter the scene when I see no more Nurglites. That doesn't mean they're not there, but when I can't see any of them anymore, I'm going to teleport through the car door into the shed I was. Mm-hmm. And then with the shotgun equipped, I'm going to try and sweep the house as much as I can.
All right.
In order to dispatch any of the Nurglites, make sure that the veil or masquerade, as we demons have it, is as much as protected as possible.
All right. Before you go ahead and do any of that, you notice that as soon as you're done dispatching the visible Nurglites, one of the lowriders, the one that you saw coming in, proceeds to move and shake quite a bit. Its trunk, actually, as what hops out is apparently a young man, what looks to be like a student, fairly confused, fairly disgruntled, fairly frightened, as it goes ahead and proceeds to run away fairly quickly, run away as far as humanly possible, and it certainly gets a decent amount of distance.
Can I make a perception check to notice if he's wounded or not?
Yeah, why not?
I would take a perception medic.
Perception medicine at a difficulty of 8.
Now they're nice.
Okay, fair enough.
6, sorry.
Fair enough. With a boss roll like that, you're able to look into your scope and start pinpricking and detailing the various lacerations across this student's body. You quickly realize that some of these wounds are quite deep and would have wounded a normal man. Perhaps this student has some kind of hidden fortitude or resilience you don't exactly know about, and of course you have to roll your perception awareness at this point.
I'm gonna roll perception awareness as well, indeed. Perception. The awareness is, yeah. Oh. Of course, now I get the ones. Because God hate me. That's okay, I hate God too. What difficulty?
Just 6.
Okay. That's at least one success.
Alright, with at least one success, this fleeing student who is currently gaining a lot of ground on you, at least, he seems to be something about him, just his aspect, just the way that he ran, just the way that he is currently running or keeping himself together after being brutally assaulted by that many cuts and lacerations. Something doesn't seem right about him. He doesn't seem like a normal person should.
What my character will do then is, if I have to make a intelligence check. to make sure if I'm really sure that all the Nurgle are gone.
Okay, do so.
That's just intelligence. Intelligence what? To make that kind of perception, that kind of guess.
Intelligence wits for the moment.
Intelligence wits, okay. All right, there you go.
Okay, yes. You go ahead and do so, and you quickly realize that all the personnel from this particular location have been dispatched. They've either fallen to your rifle, or they have fallen to these Nurgleites, who are, at this moment, actually quickly decomposing. They seem to be decomposing at a quickly and rapid pace until there's nothing but sludge and slime that you are currently familiar with, and even further from that to just nothing. However, the gangsters that, were not dispatched by the slime or were not Nurgleites are there very, very plainly.
Yeah, well, they are. They will wrap it up to a gang war incident. The sergeant will then get into the car and try to pick up this runner, who is currently obviously a very, very interesting witness to the situation, which needs to be either coerced into believing that he was just very lucky, or needs to be coerced into believing that he's been saved by an angel of justice.
All right, good enough. Grace, you will quickly realize with your phenomenal perceptional skills that the authorities, the cops, the police, have been called, and they are coming to this particular location. It only takes a matter of seconds, not seconds per se, but minutes before they have the entire place on lockdown.
Well, it's to be expected. I leave the area to be as it is, as my momentarily focus is on the running individual or the escaping individual, as it might be.
All right.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to ride up next to him in the car, and I'm opening the car door for him to jump in. And I'll say jump in with those words.
Daniel, for his matter of fact, is quite confused and quite wounded, and at this point, just willing to take a help. So he will just look very questioningly, and then hear the sounds of the cops, and then just jump in.
In the back of the car, you can see there is an first aid kit already being ransacked by me personally, but it's out there. It's been used, but still there's scissors, there's some kind of bandaging going on. It's there to stop your bleeding, to stop your wounds from deteriorating. That's something you can see. Also, you can see that the car is just an average normal car. It doesn't have any speciality thing going. It's just an average car which will blend into any sort of street environment.
All right.
And the sergeant will slow down to normal speeds in this suburb, so not to attract any attention. And he will try to sound as concerned as possible and saying, "Are you all right, sir?"
I don't quite know. Do you mind if I use these? As he points quite shakingly towards the medical kit.
No problem. Go ahead. Use as much as you need.
All right. You can see through your mirrors that he's actually quite good with a medical kit.
You've been either very lucky or very foolish to end up in the way you were.
Ouch. I think so.
All right. I must stop the scene right there just for a little bit. Okay. So, Mr. Grace, how are we executing the scene? How are we trying to get away? Are we simply using the car and trying to drive as fast as possible away? Are we trying to be cautious about this?
We're trying to be cautious about this because the car probably is recognized by people in the neighborhood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive the car to another location where I have my motorcycle, which I normally use.
All
And
right.
that motorcycle will be stashed somewhere it doesn't look suspicious at all.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. However, I'm going to have to make you roll some kind of drive check. A
Okay.
manipulation drive check to get away from the currently closing on your position group of police officers.
All right, I will try because I need to manipulate something. Yeah. How does that work with unearthly glamour? Because that gives me a -2 difficulty on manipulation rolls.
We'll say for this scene at least, it goes ahead and gives your particular vehicle an unnatural glamour. It seems to, for some reason, bedazzle people, and they seem to look away from you. Sound good?
Yeah, perfect. Because I don't think my manipulation is that good, but so that anything can help. My drive is also reasonably okay, but no. Wow. Because it's fighting what I do, not driving. That's one, that's two. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I figured. And there the roll comes. Hopefully for the best. Oof.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Oh, with the lower difficulty, the 5 will also be alright then?
Yes, the 5 will be alright. Unfortunately, you do not get as many successes as you need. You come to an intersection, okay?
Perfect.
You come to an intersection, and before you're able to totally cross the street, you are stopped by two patrol cars who proceed to block your exit. The people in the cars go ahead and one of them is on one side, one of them is on the other side. One of them will proceed to jump out using the car door as some sort of shield, and he'll go ahead and yell at you, NYPD, stop the vehicle now, come out with your hands up.
Sergeant will look at the young man he just picked up and sigh as this young man now just became something that he needs to protect. So he can't simply escape. So I will instead gun the car and use a willpower to make a drive action to drive past the blockade and try not to hit the police officers.
Okay, if you would like to, go ahead and slam the acceleration pedal all the way to the max. Make me a wits and drive check.
Oops. It's this one. The last 4.
Okay, fair enough. How many
It was
successes?
10, 10, and a 6. So that's 3 successes.
All right, fair enough.
Didn't you also spend a willpower?
Yeah, and I spent willpower, yes. So that's 4. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonably enough. You go ahead and proceed to slam on the accelerator as you gently push these Crown Royals out of the way. Actually, this is what you do. You don't go ahead and proceed straight through it. You go ahead and actually find a weak point in their formation towards the right side, your perspective, the right side. Swing the car in that general direction, push and nudge that particular portion out of the way, proceed to speed off into the night, and this just became a car chase.
That's perfectly fine. I'm going to look at the student and ask, can you drive?
Not too good.
take the wheel because I don't want them to follow me, and we need to get you safe.
All right, all right.
I'm,
Uh,
I'm going to make an dexterity athletics roll in order to change positions while driving.
You don't necessarily need to do that. I'm willing to give you that one for free.
Okay. When I do that, I'm going to knock out the back window, and I'm going to try and shoot tires.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, try it,
Because I don't want them to follow me, because I don't want to hurt the police officer, so I can't kill the driver. I have to kill the car.
Fair enough. Go ahead and this is how we're gonna do it. You're gonna go ahead and bring your weapon to bear first. You're gonna shoot. Difficulty of 9 to shoot out one of the tires. Actually, difficulty of 8 to.
I have concentration to help with the aiming.
Oh, okay. Actually,
So I'm not
that
getting
just
distracted
becomes
by the shaking car as much.
Actually, yes, that will definitely apply. Now it's just a difficulty of 8 to shoot out the wheels.
Okay.
If you wanted to make it really, really tricky, you could go ahead and shoot another wheel and make it a difficulty 9.
I have a low light vision. Does that help in this dark area?
You're able to see.
Okay, that's fair enough. Can I help myself? I have to make a perception roll, I guess, to shoot right enough. Because I'm going to explain why I want to make the perception roll. The perception roll is for two things. First of all, I want to kill the car, not the driver. That also means that I have to probably hit the car at a specific moment in order to make sure that the car does not drive into a house, into other people walking around, into another car hurting other people. I'm really trying to take the car down at the moment that he can't hurt himself other than get the airbags going.
Okay,
and
how
not
about
kill
this?
other people.
Okay, you're trying to take this car down with as least damage as possible to the local surroundings.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make me a wits intuition check. You're drawing on your natural ability as a fiend to go ahead and see the threads of fate after you take the next shot.
Okay, there you go. There's my faith intuition.
Okay, fair enough.
Intuition, wits, whatever.
Alright, fair enough. That'll definitely help you. Go ahead and add these successes as dice to your attacking the vehicle.
Okay, that was 4 dice for that. That's 5 dice for firearms. That's a 9. And dexterity, which is this. So here we go.
we all hate ones.
Don't you? What was the difficulty again before I start clicking too much away?
Difficulty of 8.
Alright, that's 2 successes.
Alright, with 2 successes, you're able to pop one of the vehicles, or at least you're able to pop the lead patrol car's tires. Alright then. Now it's time to make drive checks. Daniel, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to get away? Are we trying to just take control of the vehicle? Are we trying to evade? What are we doing?
Yeah, I would like to get control of the vehicle and try and, not hit anything and just get the hell away.
Alright, you're just at a base difficulty of 6. Go ahead and throw your dexterity and drive. You're simply trying to keep the vehicle from crashing into anything.
Yep, willpower.
Smart man.
That's 2 successes.
Alright, with 2 successes, you're able to reasonably keep the vehicle under control. Let's roll their drive checks at an increased difficulty because you shot out the tires. Let's go with the difficulty 8. Oh, that's 1 success. They do not gain ground on you. They're staying with you, but they're not gaining ground. The patrol car up front, after having been shot at, will go ahead and actually depart from the chase, while another one right behind it will go ahead and take precedent, take the lead on this. All right. Now, Daniel, for some strange reason, for some god awful reason, you feel that things have gotten totally out of control. You took some fairly bad advice from your friends you thought you could trust. And then you proceeded to get stabbed a lot. And then you proceeded to jump out of your trunk. And then you proceeded to jump into the car of this man who's currently shooting at the cops behind you, which will definitely get some attention. However, something is coming back to you, someplace that you could hide to if you tried hard enough. Roll me perception awareness.
Legit. This is my insightful specialty count here.
It does.
That helps indeed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nice.
Alright. For some strange reason, something is coming back to you. You actually recognize this place, not from this time, but perhaps from another realm of existence. You see quite plainly before you that there used to be at least an exit from this world into another. It's just down the corridor. It's just down this particular road. However, how do you open the door? How do you open the door? That's the problem. That's what you're currently screaming in your head. How do I open the door? I know where the door is, but how do I open the door?
How do I open the door? Ah!
You have Dead Reckoning, at least. At least you have the Dead Reckoning merit and trait working for you. You know exactly where you need to go. You just need to survive long enough. You just need to get there. Now, going to the Rev.
Yep.
What is the Rev doing?
He is trying to knock out the other cop, as well as taking a look if Daniel is still keeping it all together, because he found himself to be in an extraordinary position, and he's still coping, which is extraordinary in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But my focus.
About this kid.
But the focus, yeah, exactly. But my focus will be on trying to give him time enough to escape.
All right. Fair enough.
Trying to take down another cop car.
All right. Proceed to make your roll to disable that vehicle with your gun.
All right. Is that straight up, or do I need to roll another perception thing, or was it intuition thing?
Go ahead and do it straight up. You know exactly what you're doing now, and yeah.
There you go. That's 5
Nice.
successes.
Nice. I'm not even going to make you roll damage for that. As you go ahead and pling one of the tires, as well as a bit of the fender, and for some strange reason, just because you place the bullet in exactly the right place, something starts to smoke under the hood. Not enough to totally damage the thing, but enough to obscure its vision. It'll now be taking lots of penalties to its drive check as we continue to make them. Daniel, you're currently behind the wheel. Go ahead and roll it again.
Yay!
This time at a difficulty 5, because you know exactly where you're going now.
1 success.
Okay, fair enough.
This is a legitimate reason to buy more drive, people. Why? Because you never know when you end up dead in the trunk, and then you need to make drive checks to get the fuck away from the police.
Normally I don't have to drive. I can teleport, but you're blocking my leg. Fantastic. I like the scene already.
Yep. They will attempt to go ahead and do. No. They try to make their attempt to get ahead of you, but for some strange reason, that well-placed bullet by Thomas the Rev Graves goes ahead and flings them in just the right way, that car proceeds to smoke out. However, they are still following you. Daniel.
How do I open the door? Legacy roll.
Good point.
Go ahead and do so.
What's it? Intelligence legacy?
Yeah.
Alright, see noodle. What's the difficulty?
Oh,
Doesn't really
standard.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Nope. You can do it. Whatever.
Yay.
You realize quite suddenly that the only way to open the door is for somebody on the other side to be standing there and to open the door for you. And that door will be as wide as you need it to be. You just need to scream out the right words. I, as a Halaku, demand the door to be open.
And the other entity inside Daniel, well, what is now Daniel, will suddenly get the jolt, the memory that everything that happened before, and he will drive to the door and he will say, I as a Halaku demand that this door opens. Dun dun dun.
And the driver proceeds to become rather ghostly to you, Rev. Proceeds to be rather ghostly, and the control of the vehicle goes away from him, and he starts to disappear from this very world in much the same way that you would recognize another Halaku to do so.
Mm-hmm. He's sidestepping.
Yes, he is. He is sidestepping.
So does that pull in the entire car or just him?
Unfortunately, that just pulls in him, as the car is now...
Without a driver.
Yeah, the car is without a driver. You want to handle that?
I want to take this guy with me.
You can't.
You can't. What I will do is, because he just took care of himself, I guess, I am going to do the same. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the smoke grenade to obscure the vision of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So the followers have more trouble following the car, as I'm going to use the car door to get out of Dodge. I'll try to do 3 things if I'm allowed. One of them is steer the car towards a place where it will crash but not hurt anything.
Mm-hmm.
The other action will be to throw the smoke grenade to make sure that the police isn't following right away, or at least not seeing us jumping out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will teleport through the car door and be gone.
You know what? I like that plan so much, you do it without a hitch. All the consequences of this night, this chase, are going to come barreling down at you. You quickly realize, however, for this night at least, you are getting away.
Well, it's a stolen car, who cares?
Yeah, well, stolen car, shooting at cops, the general mayhem. We can say that you safely escaped the scene, the consequence of which will hit you later.
It will be a criminal, I'm sure.
I know.
I'm fine. I will escape. However, as I escape, I will try to escape to one of my safe havens.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, because I saw this new guy making his way out of this world, I'm going to use the lamp of light celestial power I have in order to track this guy as soon as I can.
All right. Lamp of light. Let's see. What does
That
this
means
do?
that I can sense the faith in this city, and I will use it in the Bronx specifically to find him. It might give me a few attempts to find him because he's now in the other world, and will take time to escape back to this world again. But I think I can find him within a reasonable time.
Unfortunately, you will not be able to cast this over the entire city. You'll be able to cast it over a few yards. It affects all living beings within a radius of yards equal to the character's faith.
My total faith or the momentarily faith?
Your total faith.
Total faith's 4.
Okay, so you're looking at 4 yards. You quickly realize that it will be a very tricky endeavor, but there's definitely somebody else here in the Bronx. You got
Definitely.
that at least.
Well, I think I'm going to try and search for him then.
Yeah, fair enough. That'll be, unfortunately, a scene for another
Obviously,
time.
no, that's perfectly fine.
We will actually go ahead and sidestep into the Shadowlands just for a tiny bit. How's that sound, people?
Legit.
Legit.
All right. Now, you, my good sir, have just sidestepped something that you haven't done ever, at least not in this arcation or in arcation. Well, screw you then. Why won't you do this for me? I want you to do this for me. Yep. Fine. We'll keep to that one. In any case, you find yourself in the dark abyss. You find yourself in a very, very big room. There is no light. There are no starlights. This is just a night. A night that extends far, 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 far out. Far out. To the left, the right, to the back, to behind you. And you find yourself currently sitting in the middle of a road, the pavement under you cold and hard. The cars, the police chase, it's all a rather distant memory at this moment as you find yourself in Haven. It's a word you don't know. It used to be a safe place. Now it isn't for some reason.
What? Why is this place feels so familiar? It is familiar. We helped. Wait, we? Who are? Daniel will start to walk. He will stand up and walk over the bridge that he was just on and the door, and he'll just simply start to walk. He has that reckoning. He knows where he's going. Even if he doesn't know, he knows where he's going.
Mm-hmm. You go ahead and walk. You are living. You are living here. That's quite a strange feeling since everything seems dead and cold. The very, very wind that sweeps through seems evil and freezing. Around you, you can actually hear tiny, tiny whispers. Whispers that seem very, very close but don't actually connect to anything, aren't actually attached to a body. They seem to be phantasmagoric in nature, these whisperings. They sort of whisper things to you. Whisper to get out. Whispering to leave. Whispering that this is not your place anymore. Whispering that you should just go. Now.
Daniel will look around to the apparent source of the whispers, which is nothing. And he will stare at it. No. This used to be ours. We built it for you. Why should we leave?
You hear
That
a few
isn't.
more. You hear a few more whispers. Go here. Go here. Go here. And it seems to be a blip, a signal that proceeds to repeat itself over and over again, sort of leading you not necessarily in the direction that you want to go. With your dead reckoning, you know for a fact that the university is well, well beyond there, well, well over there. But these whispers are telling you to detour your path just a little bit.
Daniel will close his eyes and strain his supernatural senses because for some reason he has them right now, and he will try to get something solid, something he recognizes. Perception awareness.
Yay!
1 success.
Okay, with 1 success, you quickly realize that somebody's calling out to you, and they're using these whispers just as a intermediary, as if they're are using some particular lore that they remember themselves, as if they're using servants and go-betweens in order to reach out to you.
The others. There are more here. And he'll start running. He'll just start running.
Running in which particular direction?
The point, the bleep, the whispers.
Fair enough.
He doesn't know, but he knows for some reason.
You go ahead and do so. And it becomes painfully obvious who is calling you out, who is whispering to you, as the figure of this man. This man who seems to be dressed and ready for some type of security work at a nightclub. He seems to have well-fashioned trousers, a vest to go along with it, and a t-shirt just underneath that sort of spells out security behind his back as he's just sort of laying back on a park bench, seemingly waiting for you, at least.
You know, you could also have picked a point that's close by. Hi.
Hello. Hello, my friend. Hello, my brother. How long has it been?
Millennia?
Much more than that, unfortunately. Come on, sit. You've traveled a long, long way. Tell me. Tell me about your night.
All right. And Daniel will walk up towards the man and sit on the bench. And then he looks down at his clothes and his wounds that have kind of been patched up, but not really. I'll get this fixed at university. Ouch.
I noticed you had quite the chase. Do you think you got away? Do you think you got away scot-free?
Probably not. I was shooting at cops. That's not the best thing to do, but I don't know.
Well, sorry that tonight really didn't go exactly the way it ought to, but it never really does with our kind, does it? Do you know who you are?
I do.
Do you know what you are?
I do.
Good. There's a lot of things I don't have to explain to you right now, which is fantastic for me. Usually I have to go through a long, long spiel, but,
Why is that?
because most people who come back from the pit don't necessarily have all their marbles intact. Sometimes the memory is just too much.
He closes his eyes and rubs the bridge of his nose. I think I remember just about everything.
Well, I'm both glad and very, very sorry to hear that. I'm Josh Rayne, he says as he goes ahead and extends his hand.
Daniel will look at his hand and then look at his own blood-smeared hand, and then, if you don't mind, and then takes them. Daniel Xeva.
Xeva. Don't worry, Daniel.
Right.
I would shake your hand even if it was covered in all kinds of blood. You, my good sir, are a brother. I'm very, very glad to have a brother right now.
I'm so glad I'm out of there.
We're all very, very glad. We're all very, very glad to be back in the breathing world.
Right. This place has gone to shit.
Yeah, this used to
Both.
be Haven.
Yeah. Both this place and beyond.
He just
First
goes
night
ahead
here.
and
First night here, get shot, get mugged, get stabbed, get run into a trunk. Fun times.
oh, phenomenally fun times. You know what? This is probably the worst reunion story I have heard. You were shot, you were stabbed, you shot at cops. Oh my god. You've had quite a time.
Fuck.
I'm like I said, I'm Josh Rayne. I'm affiliated with the local court, as well as a few other organizations within the city.
Hmm. How's so there are more of us?
Yeah, there are more of us. More of us fallen who have gotten out of the pit, and one more Halaku, just like us.
Good, good. Good. Wow. Jesus. Jesus. Alright.
It's fantastic, right?
We're here. We're out of there.
You're really here. You're really out of there. You're not there anymore.
This is so weird. I remember my own, but I remember this mine. This is mine, or am I this? I guess we're both.
I'm Josh. You're Daniel. Get used to it.
Right. I guess that's the way it goes.
Yeah, yeah. So, Daniel, what do you do? What does Daniel do?
I'm a medical student
Mm-hmm.
at Fordham University.
Okay. There are a few of our kind that actually frequent that area often.
Huh.
What else, Daniel? Daniel, I cannot stress this enough, but this will be your cover story. This is your cover story on Earth.
I have a job,
Good?
and I was, you know, studying to be a brain surgeon.
quite a lofty perception. That's quite a lofty career path you have chosen for yourself. Hopefully tonight's events don't negatively impact that.
Sure, don't. Hope so, no. That will be quite irritating.
Well, it's only irritating because Daniel has been working so hard for that particular cause, that particular career path. You, my good sir, have just gotten out. You couldn't ask for a better chance.
I guess not. Well, I want to continue along this path because that's just who I am.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Were you one of the ones that recycled matter? Were you one of the ones that guided the spirit? Or were you the ones that built places like this?
And he looks around at the Shadowlands. No, I was here. I was one of the I was one of them that built it here. I was all the way down there as well when at last when the last stand happened, so to speak.
You were there at the last stand.
Yeah, I saw him go back, well, solidify himself all the way down.
Mm-hmm. There are a few of the great Slayer Halaku lords that disappeared into one far shore after another. And I hope they didn't get caught. I don't know if they did or not. I've been looking for them.
I don't think so. That place was the most secure thing that we built in here.
You couldn't get there. You couldn't get there even with the malefactors' help. Even with the House of the Fundament. We brought people in just to make it even more secure.
Right. And also the Nabaru had also a fair share of things to do in here. We
Yeah.
learned a lot from them. No.
Yeah.
Wow, this place is a mess.
It's this is one of the clearer parts, one of the amphitheaters I like to call them, simply because it's a big, wide open space where a lot of the fighting hasn't actually happened yet. The people here, the people in the Shadowlands, the people we left behind, they haven't been taken care of. They've been left to their own devices, and they fall into every sort of greed, anger, negativity that they could possibly imagine. It's unfortunate there's no outlet other than themselves. So the spirits here, they attack each other quite often in rather bloody messes. It is the nature of things now. This place is no longer a haven. It's a battleground. It's Armageddon.
That's not good. That's not how we built this. That's not how we built this. That's not what this was intended to be.
I know, Daniel. Tell me, what was it meant to be?
And he'll actually start to look up. This was meant to be a safe place, a haven, as the name said. It's supposed to a last resting place where the dead can just lay down their heads and just rest. Take their most important memories with them. Manifest here as actual objects and be at peace. This wasn't supposed to be a fucking battleground.
You, me, I think we're sort of on the same page with that one. Were you, now if this is too painful, just go ahead and ignore the question, but, were you near the walls than the rest of the people?
Um, the wolves. She is a fucking goddamn bitch.
Yes, she was. Vindictive to the last.
You know how many times I tried to reach across? You know how many times I tried to just speak to this place, to just feel it, touch it, be there, but that
Josh will go ahead and extend his arm and throw it around Daniel's shoulders. I know. I know. They are right there, right behind the wall. All of us tried it. All of us only had fleeting glances and touches with the other side, but they might have not been the best thing. There were a lot of us that kept trying to do that and fell into more darker urges. They tried to reach out, and all they did was claw at the wall. Me, myself, I tried to keep most of the more tormented away from the wall. Eventually, I would have fallen to such depravity as well, but I'm out here now. I found a crack and I ran for it.
right. At least if I don't know if it can be done, but at least we can try and make things a little bit better for the ones here.
We can try. We can definitely try. They need quite a number of things. They need actual material that is actually brand new and fresh. The relic system, it works, but it needed to be much more than it already is. They also need to have some living space to them. It's been quite a number of quite a long amount of time, and overcrowding is becoming an issue. The far shores were supposed to be the last resort, and all these ghosts, all these spirits desperately want to reach them, want to get away from this place simply because it's so overcrowded. And also, they need security, safety. There are so many factions out here, and they're all trying to vie for the same things, the same materials. And it's disturbing. It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen, what they do to each other.
Great.
You can see why all my friends think I'm the most depressing individual in the world. You can see why my friends think I'm too responsible and too uptight.
Ouch.
Daniel, yeah. Daniel. Go ahead and
Yeah.
sit. Just go ahead and take care of yourself for a moment. If you got a bit of the God spark, go ahead and use it. And if you don't, well, I've got a cup that I can let you borrow for a few seconds.
No,
It just
I think I have some of it left. And he will, use a faith point, and he'll actually heal a wound. Much better.
think of it
Much
like this. Think of it like this, Daniel. things are tough all over, and we Halaku have a special responsibility and duty that has been left ignored. But we're not the only ones who have been left in the shitter. A lot of the other houses also have responsibilities, duties to maintain, and it's just not. It has not happened. For one reason or another, when we got thrown into the pit, there was nobody else to actually pick up the pieces after us. It was just like you would call it. She left us. She abandoned us. Abandoned this world, too.
It makes no sense. But fuck it. She can decide whatever she wanted to do. Tell the others whatever the hell they needed to do. After, everything was dealt with, they just left it all alone?
They left.
Oh.
They really did fight so bitterly for something they just left. And we were the crazy ones, right?
I know. It's like, why even bother?
I think it was more the principle of the matter. I think they just had to bring in the rebellious host. They just had to bring in the rebels back to heal and put them all into a nice little cage and put the bow on it and just walk away. They weren't responsible enough for this creation. They left it. And you know what I say? They want to leave this universe, leave this creation, so be it. We don't need them. These rebels are going to go ahead and fix what they broke.
Right. Right. First, I need to get back, get some sleep.
Right, I can drop you off.
That would be appreciated.
Let me ask you this: how much do you remember of what you can do, your capabilities?
Let's see. As he looks into the distance and try to reach up. I can feel the barrier, the gauntlet.
That's good. That's good.
I'm pretty sure I can talk to them.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
You'll
I
actually go ahead and see a few specters and spirits and wraith sort of start walking around. They notice that the situation between the two Halaku has actually settled down. Well, then we'll go to Josh Rayne. He seems to be a man in combat fatigues and simply wears some sort of strange goggle harness to him. He sort of flips up on his back. It's apparently some kind of sniper rifle, or at least the relic of which. And he just goes ahead and says, "Hey, we got some tangos down at section 21. Do you want us to pick them up?" At which point Josh will say, "Bob, just go have fun. I don't really care, and don't waste your spirit bullets." At which point Sniper Bob will go ahead and say, and walk away. I really should leave him to haunt his brothers, but apparently his brothers got cold chills, so Mr. Silas told me to, give him something else to do.
Silas? Is that another one of our kind?
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Okay, time for the talk. Daniel.
Well, we can have to talk, as you said, later on, but... I think I really need to get back.
All right. Josh will go ahead and jump off the seat. sort of gestured in the direction that he came from. Go ahead and lead the way, sir.
All right, follow me. And he will strike towards his dormitory.
At which point, the wall of the dormitory will go ahead and open up to the Shadowlands, using the lore of realms that Josh Rayne seems to be an expert in. He goes ahead and rips asunder the divide between the two walls and allows Daniel to go ahead and make his exit.
All right. And there we shall end our scene, ladies and gentlemen potatoes. Thank you for watching.